Hello, people of Earth. This is the homie Pedro. Talk about the difference between beta males and alpha males again, but I'm going to specify on beta males and their behavior. Um, Now, this comes off of watching TheHenDen yesterday. He has a very important message I don't think enough people get to hear about abusive relationships, domestic violence, that type of deal. Um, and then, yeah, uh, I never really thought about the beta male thing until I listened to one of Big Word the Genius's things about the most dangerous male is a beta male. So I'll just go off of first off, I'll leave a description, the Hendens in there. Um, Also, I want to say thanks again to It's a Wealthy Life. I'm working on my confidence in speaking. um, but yeah, man. All right. So, through my own personal experiences with beta males, they cannot take a loss. They always come up with excuses. They do not have um, the capability to take accountability. And I noticed this because my dad, so he has his bachelor's in psychology and his master's in social work, and also I've been just life experiences. So I was in a boxing gym years ago, and this guy comes in, Gold's Gym thing. This is a true story. Gold's Gym, like yoked, uh, and he wanted to fight my boxing coach, and ends up I didn't know what was going on because I was sparring, so I was just in the moment sparring, and I could kind of hear something going off, and then my sparring partner stopped. So then I stopped, and I was like, What's going on?" And then I hear, "Oh no, you can get in the ring with him." And this guy's like cussing out my coach, and I don't think this guy realized how close he was to getting beat up because my coach, he could fight. Probably to this day, even though he's up there in age. I mean, I like technique and that old man strength don't go away. Um, so anyways, guy gets in the ring with me, and it was a big confidence booster for me because I was training for my first fight, and I was 2 weeks out, so it was like the most brutal part of it is that 2 weeks of just brutal conditioning, and then you get like a week of like just going over your techniques, stuff like that, and calming down so then you could be pure like top peak performance or try to be. And so anyways, um when it starts, the guy just telegraphed his punches. I mean, looping left hook, looping right hook, looping left hook, and then he was tired. Couldn't believe it. Flicked my jab at his nose, and I could see him like flinch from the pain, and it wasn't even really that hard. And then I was hitting to the body, but then again, I'm a heavyweight, and I was about 235 at the time, um, which right now basically the same. It's like 225, 227, stuff like that. But anyway, so I'm cracking him in the body over and over and over again, as many times that like the lower rib area, um, and then crack him in the head, crack him in the body, crack him in the head. The movie that gets it right for me in boxing is The Fighter, when he's talking about head body. That's a real thing that works. Anyways, this guy, he gets emotional, takes off his gloves, and leaves the boxing gym. So I continue on with my sparring, but my sparring and stuff like that, because we would go up to 20 rounds of sparring, and I get fresh bodies thrown at me, and we were doing that day. So the gym was pretty packed, and so there was we had a good people in that gym. Anyways, so about over an hour goes by, and I leave, um, and this guy's waiting for me. outside the boxing gym, but like in the cut, like down the alleyway. And he's got three of his friends with him. And I remember just thinking like, what the heck? And I'm already tired, but I'm still loosened up. I'm not like sore yet, anything like that. And I explained to his friends, I'm like, look, he came in threatening my coach, and then one on one, and I beat him 1-on-1. Like it lasted to the second round, and then I don't know, he got emotional and left. I was like, but I could see the dude was still mad. He was still mad. He would not let it go. He was still mad. And so I told his friends, I was just like, hey, we can go 1-on-1. I can go on 1-on-1 with one of you guys. I'm like, I'm kind of tired because I just got done training. Or if you guys feel more inclined, we can go back to the boxing gym and then we can kind of like sort this all out. You know what I mean? And so then I just started walking back to the boxing gym because I was just trusting my gut instinct. I'm like, if I continue to walk, like I'm gonna get jumped, and there might be more of them. I don't know. Um, Plus, don't know if they had a weapon on them, stuff like that. Whereas the boxing gym, camera, stuff like that, documented it in case anything really violent happened. Um, so as I'm walking back, one of his friends stops him, and a good thing I was about 10 yards away from him. Um, but one of his friends stopped him probably because he'd been around him enough times because he knew the beta behavior. I met another dude who was a beta male. This guy, he got in an argument with his girlfriend, but again, trusting my gut instinct. And this guy, 6 months later after I met him, because he was acting all super thug and he was cussing up a storm, this and that. 6 months later, he unalived his girlfriend because his girlfriend broke up with him. Dude, I've been broken up before. It sucks. Do you know what you do when you get broken up? You take the pain, then you leave. You leave the situation, all right? If it's over the phone, then the worst thing you want to do is put yourself in a situation where you're going to do something dumb. But for me, it's always given me time to reflect. Like, okay, well, maybe I did this wrong, maybe I did that wrong, but at least I know to work on myself, you know? Um, let's see, another beta male thing. Guy who snitched on me. First time I ever been tattletaled on. It was some dude. He said that his woman had been SA'd. So then I thought this individual was a friend. I rolled over with couple of the homies, and we went to go figure it out. But something wasn't making sense. Again, gut instinct. Because this guy said he had gotten jumped, that this all happened at a party. Turns out, because he had scratches on his face, and I'm like, this doesn't add up to scratches on, like from being jumped, because I've been jumped a lot. When you're 6'4", and heavyweight people will use unfair tactics, and so, turns out his girlfriend cheated on him at the party, and he walked in on it, and then she attacked him. Was drinking involved, stuff like that. I mean, this is a very abusive relationship. I'm glad on his behalf, and I found the strength in me to forgive him for putting me in that situation and then tattletelling on me. That he's at least not in a abusive relationship like that anymore. But it was crazy. It was like on cue. Like when I was saying like, yeah, none of this matches up. Plus the people that he's accusing of, I don't think they would do that. I could see them doing something else, like beating up a dude and taking his money, something like that. That makes sense, but not that. You know, because I had done dirt with him, and anybody that's lived a street life, if you're known to be around weak people, that can be very detrimental to your survival. Like you can't just be hanging around someone that's like a known pedophile. You know what I mean? Like you can't, or PDF file. Watch it much, yeah. But yeah. Okay, so another time, beta male behavior. Um, my brother said that this guy was like hell like bent on shooting him. And I was like, okay, well, I don't I don't get what's going on with that. But maybe we could talk this one out. Who knows? And so I go over to 7-Eleven. I just gotten back from the Happy Campfire. This was in 2023. It was in California. It barely came back to Utah, and I'm walk over to Sev. This guy's already parked sideways, and he pulls a gun out on me. Like first, he calls me over and my brother. I've never met this dude before, but he calls my brother out. Me and one of my brothers look almost alike, and he was already under the influence of amphetamines. You can just tell. And then he's threatening to unalive me. And I was trying to explain to him the repercussions of doing that. I was like, look, like I just barely got back from fire. Um, you know, and then I was like, you don't understand the laws. Like, I was like, first off, I doubt that gun's even licensed to you. Second, like, I don't know you. So what's going to be your justification in this? What, my brother offended you? And then he's like, oh no, well, he offended my lady. I was like, okay, well, third of all, I'm technically a first responder, especially during summertime. And so the only plea deal you'll get is life in prison or the death sentence. That's it. Life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death sentence. And I was like, I hate to bring it to you, like, but this is exactly what's gonna happen, man. If you pull that trigger and I end up passing away, your lady's gonna grow. You're gonna get like, let's say you get life in prison. Your lady's gonna move on, and then you're gonna be by yourself, you know. And this dude just could not take the loss. He was acting way insane. So then I leave, and I tell my brother, I'm like, come on, man, let's just go. You know what I mean? Let's just go. And so this guy, over about a week period, he stayed at his girlfriend's place of work, which was a 7-Eleven, all right, and was threatening every customer that would even just make eye contact or be nice, say have a nice day. And he's like, what's that supposed to mean? And so she ended up losing her job because of it. I mean, the beta male behavior is crazy. So what I've noticed with betas, they cuss a lot of times. I mean, not all of them. I've met alphas that cuss a lot. A lot of betas they'll cuss a lot, but they definitely don't take accountability, and they will be like, it's the end of the world if it's something small. If it's something small, these people, they will analyze somebody for $20 because, or just like I said, disrespect or something. Um, like let's say today, well, more importantly, yesterday. So I finally, so I withdraw lately off of alcohol. It's 29 days sober, man, almost 30 days, but whatever. It was an improvement from what I used to do, daily drink. And, you know, but then I had actually gotten like legit sick. I was up in a hotel room because I don't believe in drinking around kids. I just don't. If I'm battling my own issues, I'll do that myself. And yeah, which isn't healthy at all. And then, so the place I was working through, they were, they had let me go, which was crazy because they were like, yeah, if you get a sick note, because I was legitimately sick, just not just alcohol sick. Like I know my body well enough to be like, I had something else. Um, so I was on my way to the clinic. to go get a doctor's note, and then after they said everything was fine, see you tomorrow, which would have been today. Um, they let me go. So then I was like, okay, well, the commute wasn't that the best. Plus, my pre-apprenticeship program, they they were on the fence about letting me do that. And so, if someone's on the fence about something that you tell them a month and a half in advance, like, hey man, I'm gonna have to miss Monday and Tuesday 3 weeks in a row to finish up a program that I had not finished. Yeah, again, gut instinct. So, do all that. I love this saying is that when God closes the door, He leaves a window open. So I had looked up through my emails, and then not only do I get to finish my pre-apprenticeship program, I got accepted to be an engine boss, which now I have to get over my imposter syndrome, which back leads back to anxiety, which leads back to drinking, which leads back to more anxiety. So gonna have to combat that next demon. Um, but it's also gave me an opportunity to, call my friend. And I was like, because he had been telling me, because my past job was $20 an hour. This one's 22.50, and my friend's like, yeah, man, I'll hook you up right now. You need a job, I'll hook you up. I was like, oh, all right, cool. Turns out, this is how God comes all the way back around. My friend got my boxing coach hired at his job too. And my boxing coach, I haven't seen my boxing coach for about 10 years. And my friend, this is my best friend. We had fallen out because when he got sober, I decided I didn't want to get sober. And so he had to cut me out of his life for a while. And and now that I've been able to see my kids, stuff like that, like my sobriety has lasted way longer. It's just certain things that I need to work on. Yeah, but so now I get to see my, I get this. So these are all the positives, right? I get to be reunited with my boxing coach, my friend, my best friend, get paid more, follow up with the apprenticeship class, which the hours work perfect. Like it's a graveyard, and then I get to do apprenticeship right after that because it's morning class, and then you know join the union once I'm done, and then this way I can go with this way I can do wildland firefighting because in the past 10 years I've been having an issue with trying to keep a normal job, then do my seasonal work, which I'll get majority of pay because it's 105 hours a week usually. Because at fire camp, it's 15-hour work days for 2 weeks to three. That's what they call a roll, unless you get an extension, and then you get like a third week and then like 3 days off. It takes forever to explain to people. But anyways, at Engine Boss thing, and then yeah. So of course it hurt, but then I was like, I don't know, man. I know God is real. And then turns out while I was going through all this relapse stuff, I had bumped into somebody at a gas station while I was going to get some brew. And this dude, he knows my family. He knows people I've been around. And this was just me asking him normal questions. You know, you vent somebody out to be like, da da da. And like we were talking about, you know, from a very small place. So we were talking about New Mexico, and he's native cat, and I'm not native. Well, indigenous to this continent, if you know, because Mexicans, native and Spaniard mixed together is what a Mexican is, and you know, him and I are talking about it because I was like, yeah, man, I never saw true poverty until I lived in Shiprock, New Mexico, and stuff like that. And then he's like, oh man, and then he's testing me to see if I know the area, and I'm just going off of yeah, the nearby buildings, surroundings, and areas like that. The college, it's behind the hospital, and the dude who used to work there, because we were talking about like time frames and everything like that, and yeah. So, and then he hits me up this morning, and he's going through legal issues, and I know the legal system pretty well. And so I was helping him out, and then I was like, "Yeah, man, anytime you want to hit me up, something like that." I almost wasn't gonna answer the phone number because I thought it was a scam person, and then he had just told me, and he just relating this stuff. But yeah, man, when God closes the door, He leaves that window wide open, and unfortunately, beta males do not see that. I think also this plays in kind of funny with well, not funny, but it's just really weird. I think God is all knowing, man, because that's what my grandma would always say. She would be like, "Mijo, the devil is tricky, but God is all knowing." So, um, with that, I understand people are busy, but I will leave the link to the HenDen. Again, thank you to It's a Wealthy Life for texting me, because I was feeling sad, man, and I was just like, but yeah, big word the genius for bringing up the beta male thing, because yeah, beta males are definitely hard to deal with because they're poison. That's the thing. They will try to poison you rather than fight you, or they will try to poison your relationship. They'll be your best friend and try to sleep with your wife. You know what I mean? Or fiance, or just something. They'll they'll smile on your face, stab you in the back. That's it. That's the worst. Alpha males, alpha males will you know I hate to say this term, but it's like, all right, they'll beat each other near to not neither of them even, or where both of them are physically can't fight anymore, and then have a beer the next day or even an hour later, and talk about, oh man, I almost gave up when you got me with that liver shot. you know it yeah, it definitely baffles me. Again, man, people baffle me. But yeah, enough time. I get nervous. I start talking and yapping. All right, one love. Peace out. Stay safe. Never give up.